Dobry den,
Dobry den,
and welcome back to our weekly update.
From not so snowy Bulgaria this week.
Yeah, the weather's definitely taken a turn for the better. The last 2 days have been lovely. We've had sunshine, and I think it was up to about 15 yesterday.
Yeah, it was lovely spring weather.
Lovely spring weather. We've got snowdrops in the garden, and it's all starting to come back to normal. And not too muddy.
No, well, the road outside at the bottom of the slope, that's a bit muddy. But,
yeah, but the garden and everything isn't
no.
Surprising for the amount of snow and rain we had. So we've had another fairly quiet week here.
Yes.
Not too much to do.
No, we're coming to the end of our enforced winter holiday, we think. As the weather gets better, we could start doing more stuff outside.
Yeah, and we have been outside this week. We've done quite a bit of wood processing.
Again.
Adam made a new thing.
I've got a new labour saving device for my wood processing, and it looks a bit like this. To help me process the wood and cut it to the correct length, I've made this out of old scrap wood. It's not my idea, it's one I've stolen off YouTube, but it's just for cutting multiple pieces of wood in one go. You may recognise some of the wood as the green painted wood we took out from behind the gutter when we replaced the gutter last year. The thicker branches and smaller trunks of trees are laid into the jig. They're packed closely to avoid them moving about when they're being cut. Although there's plenty of room for a lot more wood in there, I've decided not to overload it, just for the sake of safety. Once I have the wood in place, I use ratchets to hold it all together. I like this nice and tight, it stops the wood from moving and allows me to cut it more safely. Once I've put on the safety gear, I can start cutting the wood. It's a lot easier to cut through a lot of different lengths than doing one at a time on the other sawhorse. I have lines marked on the edge of the jig showing me where to cut. This way I can make all my lengths around about 11 inches. That's the right size for our pechka. The cut lengths of wood stay in place. This makes it easier to put them in the wheelbarrow to transport to the other end of the barn. Depending upon how much wood I put in the jig, I usually get around about 2 wheelbarrow loads of logs. I haven't yet worked out an easier way of loading the logs into the wheelbarrow. I'm taking the logs to the other end of the barn. This is where they'll get sorted into their sizes, cut and stacked in neat piles ready to season throughout the summer. I am slowly streamlining the system to make it less work for me every year.
We still haven't managed to go to Targovishti.
No, we did discuss it briefly about going yesterday.
But then decided to go to the village shop instead.
Yeah, and I went to the post office. I had an entire conversation in Bulgarian, which consisted of 4 words.
Yeah.
But it was enough to get my post. So.
And we've definitely improved our Bulgarian this week.
Yes, we've started looking at it a bit more seriously, learning it properly. Different approaches. We'll let you know how it goes. When we're sat here talking fluent Bulgarian to you, you know we've cracked it.
Yes, one day there'll be subtitles in English. That's our hope, anyway.
Yeah, I've got to improve my spelling for that now.
So yeah, we've been planning things.
Yes, we've had a day of planning with the house renovation coming up. What needs to be done in each room, just how much we need to, how many ceilings we need to take down, how many walls we need to chip away the plaster, that sort of thing. We knew we were going to have to do it this year. It's all part of the plan, but it's getting closer now. So you'll have more interesting things to watch. Well, I don't know if pulling down ceilings is interesting, but we'll see.
I've also been doing a bit of planning in the garden. I want to put in some raised keyhole beds this year.
Whatever they are.
And also looking at where we're going to site our greenhouse.
And some grapevines.
And some more and we'd like to get some grapevines, yeah. So yeah, although we haven't actually done much in terms of actual things we can show you, we have actually been sat here working things out what we are going to do.
Yes. So things will start moving along at a slightly faster pace now, assuming the weather holds.
Assuming the weather holds. There's been good news this week about restrictions on people coming into the country. Providing you've got a PCR test, you now no longer need to be a resident or a citizen to get into the country. So that's boding well for getting Max out here later on, hopefully April, May time.
Well, we'll see how things go, both this end and in England.
And we've also got to source Adam's leaving school certificates.
Yes, my O-level certificates from 40 odd years ago.
Because although he can exchange his driving licence, I think we've got up until September to do it.
Yes.
Or maybe October.
That's when our residency, a year from the residency date.
He does need to provide evidence of his secondary education.
They have diplomas over here, high school diplomas, which we don't have in the UK. So we have to get certificates for our exams, get them apostolated, whatever the word is.
It's some official stamp.
Then translated into Bulgarian, which we then take along to the local office, and they then assume I'm clever enough to read and write and drive a car. So.
And also registering on the Bulgarian health system.
Yeah.
We're planning to do that in the next few months. And get that sorted out, because you will need a medical certificate as well.
Yes.
Just to prove that he's alive.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to die at the wheel well, hopefully not anyway.
So yeah, we've been doing quite a bit of research around that and getting that sorted and finding out what we need. That's really about it for this week. So it's quite a short one.
Which is a nice change from last week.
Yes, which went on a lot longer than we thought it would.
We just couldn't stop talking.
And again, if anybody's got any suggestions or ideas on what to put in our videos or anything they'd like to see that we haven't shown you yet, please feel free to let us know.
And any advice to make our lives easier.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if anybody's got advice, that would be really good.
Yes.
So,
just leaves us to say,
Doskoro.
Doskoro.
And see you next week.
We certainly will. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I'll try and stop creaking the floorboards.
Alright, let's change it to you, not me. Okay. Yeah, I think and we've definitely improved our Bulgarian learning this week.
Yes, we've started looking at. Go on. What?
Nothing, just that kind of.
I'm getting my face composed.
Okay.